Hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful Sunday afternoon. Richard, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
All right. Hello, everybody. We got Joanne and Bob in the chat. At least, at least they're the ones who are actually typing. we got we got stealth people here, and but so I'm going to introduce. This is Richard Stewart of the Tarantula Collective. And the reason why I'm so excited about having him on is because I absolutely love watching his videos. I'm not into tarantulas, but my goodness, I'm into your videos.
Thank you so much.
They, like 2 weeks ago for Halloween, he did a complete Halloween story with tarantulas. And
Yeah,
that's so cool.
thank you. Yeah, it took a while to get it done. Just writing the story and then trying to, like, I wrote the story, then I filmed the tarantulas, trying to get them to do what I needed, and they didn't. They're not the best actors, so
Not
take
much
no stage direction. So then I had to go back and kind of rewrite it based on the shots that I got, but I think it turned out okay.
I think
I
it
was
turned out
happy with it.
awesome. And the thing that was wonderful is that you're playing with it. You're just having a grand old time with your channel.
Thank you. I'm trying different things, trying to figure out exactly what's going to hit with an audience and what people are, kind of receptive and responding to.
Well, how about explaining a little bit of the things you're trying and let's just get into it.
Sure. I mean, I started off mainly doing species specific care and husbandry videos, and I cranked out, I don't know, 50 of them or something like
Yeah.
that. It was just like kind of the weekly thing. Every now and then I'd mix it up with like an unboxing or a rehousing, a feeding video, something along those lines. But the ones that seemed to do the best, just, got the most views, got the most interaction, engagement was the care videos. And then like long term, those have also been some of the best ones, at least initially. The problem was I was getting really bored. Like, like if I was doing a bunch of different reptiles from different areas or something, maybe that would have been okay. But tarantulas, you kind of get to a point and, I could make a video on every single species of Brachypelma tarantula, but really they're all pretty much kept the same way.
Mhm.
So it's like, I just felt like I was repeating myself all the time, just use like almost the exact same verbiage, just changing out the names and changing out the B-roll of a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
species. So I was getting bored. So I was like, I wanted to mix it up. And I started doing like some top 10 lists, things of that nature. And then that started going really well. But it kind of ran into the same thing. It's like a lot of the top 10 lists are just kind of just like any other listicle that, it's
Yeah.
clickbaity
Yeah.
on the internet. It's subjective. It's just whoever wrote it is just picking their favorite 10 things. So it's like there was no real research it was just like, what are my favorite 10 red tarantulas? Here's a video on it. And so I was doing that for a while and people were doing, responding well, but it wasn't kind of scratching that itch for me. Like I wanted
Mhm.
something a little more educational, something or I was learning and other people were learning. So I started doing some studying on like tarantula myths or spider myths throughout like ancient cultures and trying to make videos on that. I tried doing like the nature documentaries where I would create these big, almost like a diorama or like this scene, this set in my studio back here, and I had like a desert, the tropical, and an arboreal. Would film the tarantulas on that, and then just kind of like do like a nature documentary, 10-15 minute video. Those are my favorite to do, but they're probably the worst performing. Like over time they kind of snowball, but initially they don't get much engagement. So right now I'm kind of like mixing it up. I'm doing like some vlog videos. I've been going to Peru, I went to Colorado and Toronto and like all these different places. So I'm doing videos on those trips while also doing like top 10 videos, care videos, rehousing, like doing everything.
Mhm.
Because it seems like my audience has grown to the point where like a sliver of them like the unboxing videos, a sliver of them like the care videos, a sliver of them like the nature documentaries. So it's I'm trying to like find what direction I really want to go to. So right now it's just kind of a shotgun approach.
Oh, we have Chief Sweep is saying I feel the exact same way. Care guides, even with lizards, feel non-creative and get boring making. They are very successful though. And well, you know what? Let's get into a real meaty topic here. How do you balance what gets the attention and what is satisfying to you as an artist?
I mean, for a while I was just doing it kind of as an artist. It was just whatever I wanted to make, what I thought the audience needed or what the hobby needed as far as like up-to-date care information, or this is my philosophy or like my experience keeping the species. Just trying to add to the pot because, depending on where you live and, even like what floor of your house you're keeping your species or your tarantulas, that is, the care can be a little bit different, like how I keep them in kind of the humid Appalachian Mountains is going to be in cooler areas, is going to be different than how somebody would keep them in Arizona or something like that, So yeah, I just feel like when it comes to husbandry, it's best to kind of have multiple sources of information that you can kind of, I keep smacking my mic, that you can kind of pick and choose from, just best suit your situation and your animal's needs. So, that's kind of what I was working on initially. And I already forgot your question. I don't even know what I'm answering at this point.
Just talk. Let it out, Richard. Well, we have this. The thing is, I have this problem as well. I work with chameleons, and so I can make a species care guide, and there's a whole lot of species, 200 species. Okay, maybe 50 species that I could make that. And it's kind of a lot of the same thing, but they are very popular. But me talking about some of the higher end husbandry aspect or philosophy, those just don't do so well. And so those of us who are doing a channel, and for my audience who is working on starting their YouTube channel now, this is something you're going to run into. Are you following your purpose? Or are you going to chase the likes? And
yeah,
obviously,
I remember where I was going. Yeah, exactly. Because initially, I didn't care. I was just making videos based off the questions that I was constantly getting asked. So it was almost like I'm just tired of typing the answer. I'm going to make a video and put it up there. Once it started picking up steam, and I was like, this is something I'm going to commit to, and I'm doing a video every week. Then I was basing it off of pretty much what people were responding to, like what information I thought needed to be out there that wasn't, or maybe it was out there, but it was in a undigestible form, so to speak. Like maybe there were some videos, but they were like 30-45 minutes long and they were boring and just poor production value. And I was like, I can condense this down to a 10-minute video. That's going to be a lot, a lot easier on the eyes. People will want to watch it and maybe will retain the information a little better. So that's what I started on. Well, at least that's what I focused on. Then towards the end, it's just I didn't care too much about that anymore. Like I had a job, I was making plenty of money, and so it's like I just want to do what I enjoy. And right now, I'm burnt out on this. I don't enjoy this anymore. So that's when I started doing like the more of the like nature documentary kind of stuff, like focusing more on the filming of the tarantulas and getting beautiful photos and stuff like that. When I started doing this as a career though, and I got the studio, and then my focus or priorities changed. So it's like now I got like if I do a video that is just like a passion project that I really want to do, I know it's probably not going to perform well and make much money. So I got to kind of sandwich it with two videos that I know are going to do well. So we'll do like a top 10 list, then a nature documentary, then an unboxing, and then like, a care video, and then maybe some kind of more nature documentary stuff or whatever, So yeah, I kind of like work it in there at like a 2-to-1 kind of ratio.
Yeah. And this channel that we're on right now, Bill Strand, this is for all the stuff that I want to do that would just be absolutely distracting on the chameleon channel. I still want to do chameleon stuff, but people were starting to say, what is this new stuff you're doing? Well, what does it have to do with chameleons? And so this channel here is going to be my ability to put in other reptile stuff, as well as the kind of entrepreneurial stuff I was doing with Reptile Entrepreneur. But Reptile Entrepreneur was too reptile entrepreneur-y. I wasn't getting to the general audience. And so this is my attempt at bringing everything I want to do together. And so, good luck to me. Let's see if it works.
Yes, good luck.
So, by the way, everybody, one thing I appreciate about Tarantula Collective is when you want coffee, this is a dude of a coffee cup.
Thank you. I actually just got the proof for the next coffee mug. Some end of November, beginning of December, I'm going to be launching the new coffee box and new line of coffee. It's going to be from Peru. I was there for 2 weeks back in June, and we hiked all through the Andes looking for a lot of really cool Haplotremus, Abistrapelma species, and many other species that just hadn't really been. I mean, I can't say they haven't been discovered, because Quechua people have been living there for thousands of years. They're very well aware that these are the tarantulas on the side of the mountain, but science hasn't gone in and described them, with like an actual paper. So we were getting a lot of photos and videos of those species and met a lot of really cool people. So for the next coffee launch Tarantula Origin series, I was wanting to focus on that region, and I found this really nice coffee plantation that is owned exclusively and worked exclusively by Quechua women, which are like the native indigenous females of that area. So we got the beans from there. We did 2 different roasts. We did like a light medium roast and a dark medium roast, and their tarantulas that they're named after are the undescribed Bistrapelma and Haplotremus species that I photographed, that people seem to really like the photographs and thought they were beautiful species. So we did that. But then the guy that did the tour for us, our guide the entire 2 weeks, married to a Peruvian woman who's an artist who lives in that region. So I commissioned her to make these hand sculpted little Haplotremus tarantulas. She hand painted them. I mean, they're beautiful. And so they're on their way from Peru right now. So they should be here within a week or 2. So that'll be something else that's in the box. So it's going to be a real kind of indigenous Peruvian, art and coffee. And I'm really excited about it. The coffee tastes great too, by the way.
Well, no doubt, especially if they made you pick the beans. So, and by the way, everybody, Tarantula Collective merch.
Oh, wow. You're just all out today.
That's right. Hey. And I will say, while we're at it, my absolute favorite, what do they call it? Coasters?
Yeah.
These are
granite coasters.
Awesome.
Or slate, I think, actually.
You'd think that I'm just like bringing this all out because Richard is here, which is true, but this is actually what I use every day. So I'm being authentic.
Awesome. But, I'm glad you enjoy it.
All right. And so everybody who's here, we've had a lot of people come in. The reason why we're having this discussion right here is because my channel, Bill Strand, I guess the Bill Strand, and yeah, I'm just going to have to go with that name for now, is I am doing a mini series on how to start your own YouTube channel. It's mainly for the reptile community. And if you wanted to start a channel yourself, you start at episode 1. And there are 20 episodes because I'm launching an episode every weekday in November. And so you can start at episode 1 on this channel. I know some of you are watching on Richard's channel, the Tarantula Collective. You just go to mine, the Bill Strand, and just look for the mini series of how to start your YouTube channel. And I go chronologically all the way through. And we kick off every week with an interview with a prominent YouTuber. And that is why Richard is here on a Sunday. We're
on my day off.
Yeah, well, hey, that's and for everybody who's been following this series. By the way, it launches every day at 1 p.m. Pacific, and it's a premiere. So if you want to join us at 1 p.m., we're in the chat. We're all discussing it. But if you've been following, the first week was just general philosophy of YouTube. The second week was creating your first video. And this week is going to be all about growing your channel. And so we're on our way. And
I just pinned your channel in the chat on my channel. So anybody watching that wants to find his channel, it's pinned in the chat. So you can go check it out and make sure you subscribe.
Yes, please. That would be great. And one of the fun things is my wife, Yvette, who is the breeder at Misty Mountain Fance. She breeds Europlatus fantasticus, the satanic leaf-tailed gecko. She has been wanting to start her YouTube channel. And so she has agreed to start her YouTube channel with this series. And in every episode, I have a halftime where we sit down, me and Yvette, and we talk about what she is doing in real time. So she launched her first video a week ago. Her second video was yesterday. And so for tomorrow, we're going to be talking about her experience launching her second video. And
awesome.
So we're having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, very cool.
So let's talk about people for the people who are just starting their YouTube channel right now.
Okay.
it's some of the things that you had to teach yourself, get used to, get over, some of the challenges that you got over to be where you are now.
Oh wow, it's a long answer. As far as like how I learned, I think the best advice I can give anybody is learn YouTube from YouTube. Like there are channels, dozens, hundreds probably of channels that will teach you how to use your camera or what camera is best for the type of videos you're wanting to make, how to use them, how to edit videos, how to color grade, how to master sound, lighting. So I mean, like everything you need to know as far as the production. There are channels dedicated solely to that are free. They're going to teach you everything you need to know. Kind of going to YouTube University. I mean, that's how I learned how to use my camera. That's how I learned to set up lights. It's how I learned to edit. It's how I learned to make thumbnails. And it's not something you learn it and then you move on. Like constantly having to watch these videos and like remind myself. Like I learned 2 years ago how to correct a crackle in the audio or something like that, or a lot of background noise. But I haven't used that in a while. So now I got to go back and luckily I saved that video so I can go back and relearn that. And stuff's always changing, especially on the social media side of stuff. So what was working or what was trending or, what was feeding the algorithm 3 years ago is not today. So I got to stay up on that. So I subscribe to channels that are constantly giving me updates about the YouTube algorithm and, what's going on inside of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So I can kind of stay up to date with what the trends are and, what kind of information is needed or is succeeding on YouTube. And then there's whole channels that are all about teaching you how to make the best thumbnails, how to write your videos essentially so that they are captivating and interesting. Like that's what I'm struggling with the most and working on the most right now is trying to like find that storyline in a video. Like if I'm just doing an unboxing video, I mean, there's the overarching kind of story of I'm opening this box and pulling things out and showing you what's in there. But I'm finding that when there's a little bit more depth to that story, then people are a little more engaged and they end up watching longer and just have overall better experience. So that's what I'm working on or trying to learn more about storytelling and how best to do that to really kind of engage with the audience. So yeah, pretty much anything you need to learn about making YouTube videos, you can learn on YouTube. One of the hardest things I think was, and it still is like the self-discipline. Like I don't have a boss now. I don't have anybody telling me I need to have a video out by this date, and life gets in the way and stuff like that. So finding that consistency, whatever it is for you, whether it's like twice a week, once a week, a couple times a month, once a month, like whatever your upload schedule is, you kind of got to find that and lock into it. And despite what a lot of like, I don't know if that really has anything to do with the algorithm. Like there's a lot of people that are like, you got to post twice a week or once a week, or the algorithms, you're gonna fall. And my experience that I don't know if that's true. And for a lot of other things that I've learned, like that's an easy answer people give you, but really what it is has nothing to do with the algorithm. You're training your audience. Like I am teaching the people to watch my channel every day, every Tuesday, I'm going to upload a new video. So come Tuesday, almost subconsciously, they're like waiting for that notification or they're checking the page to see if it's up yet. And that is what's feeding the algorithm. So it's more of a psychological thing than it is, but I mean, I could be wrong. It's just what my experience and what I've learned is I think, it's more about training the audience. So working on that, which I've been doing poorly at lately because I've got other projects going on other channels for other businesses and stuff like that. So sometimes my content it might skip a week or two, especially with all the traveling I've been doing. I just haven't had time. I get back, I'm here for 3 days and I got to take care of the animals and other stuff first and then pack and get back on a plane. So the past month or so, it's been a little hit and miss, but getting back into that grind, and I'm actually trying to do a little bit more than one video a week, at least during through the holidays, because that's when you get paid the most through YouTube. Yeah. I guess when the ad revenues are usually the highest, so that's when I want to get the majority of my views, get the majority of my content out there, and like I was actually just talking to a couple other creators yesterday, the day before, and we were comparing our was it the RPMs or CPMs, I can't remember which one, but like how much you get paid per 1,000 views. And back in August and September, it was like between $4 and $5. Now in November, everything's like $9 to $10. So it's like it's almost doubled. So if my rates doubled, then I want my content to be doubled so that I can make enough money to kind of float me through the rest of the year. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of learning about that stuff, and understanding how the space works, getting that self-discipline, just talking to the camera can be scary, so the only way that you can get through that is to just do it. And it's going to suck the first time, and it's going to suck the second time, and it's going to suck the 10th time. But somewhere around like your 30th or 40th video, you're going to be more comfortable. Like I remember turning on the camera, and I was just using a cell phone at the time. But as soon as that little like red light went on that it was recording, I didn't feel like I was alone in my basement anymore. I felt like I was talking to thousands of people on a stage, even though it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm in the basement of my house. Like that was the feeling, like the anxiety and the pit of my stomach, it just kind of drops, and I would get nervous. And like the only way I got over it was just to keep doing it. And, when I would edit, I'd kind of critique myself, figure out what I could do better, what words I probably shouldn't use, or I'm mispronouncing, or I'm taking too many breaths, or saying too many times. And so I just kind of work on that and get better gradually over time. And I just think the most important thing is just be patient with yourself and keep doing what you're doing, but don't get too critical and don't give up too soon.
Yeah. All right, let's bring on some questions. Exotic Bob's thinking about starting another channel for gaming. Is there a limit to how many channels you can have and make? And my father's mommy's home, and the dogs are excited. Okay. The answer is no. You can make as many as you want. And although be careful from somebody who has too many outreaches to maintain. Everything you make, if you don't maintain it, it just kind of dies. And so yeah.
And with each new channel, your attention has been divided. So now you're giving 50% to 2 channels, or you're giving 25% to 4 channels. And if you switch it all over to focus on one channel, then your other ones will wither and die. I mean, like you just said, I've got 3 channels technically. The Tarantula Collect is my main focus. Before they had like the ability to kind of separate podcasts and have like podcasts had their own tab, I had another channel that was just my podcasts. And maybe if I did like a reptile specific video, I'd upload it on there, but it wasn't really doing well. So I ended up switching back over and just doing podcasts on that channel. And then I have one, Arachne Productions, that like nobody is subscribed to except maybe a couple hundred people. But that's like just the commercial work I do. So if I'm like making commercials for a business like Tarantula Cribs or somebody like that, that's where I post that up, more just so they can see it without having to like upload and download a video. I can just like post it on that channel. They can go look at it, be like, I like this, I don't like this, and then they can go and change it and re-upload it. And so it's not like a channel I'm trying to get money off of. But it's like those 2 channels now that I've moved the podcast over to the main channel. I haven't uploaded anything there in months, and I officially got demonetized from the Exotic Pet Collective a couple months ago because I had the subscribers, and it's just the views in the 6-month or 12-month range had dropped off to the point they're like, you're not monetized.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And all right, things are going to go crazy over here. Yeah. And so I have, I actually have 5 official outreaches, and I'm trying to condense them in so I don't spread myself out, because you have that feeling like you have to give attention to all of them. And it's just, I wish I had more time to do it because I love them all. See, Derek's asking, when on the YouTube journey should I create an official business? Any recommendations?
What was recommended to me was there was no need to do it until it was going to be like my full-time source of income. Really the only reason to do it would be if you were trying to copyright your name or something like that, but you can just get a trademark or a copyright or whatever for your name. It's expensive. I think it's like $750 maybe, or $1,000, somewhere around there. But once you get like through all the legal fees, if you're going through LegalZoom or something like that, and with all the money you got to pay the patent office and stuff, like it's a limit. I think it's only like a year or 3 years or something like that. So it's a reoccurring cost. So if you don't have to spend that money, you shouldn't probably, take that money and invest it into better camera gear, better lighting, better audio equipment, and really try to build up, your base of viewers, your subscribers, and all that. Once you've kind of got a good audience and you're generating income, then you almost have to do it for tax purposes. Like my account was like, this is a mess. So you need to get an LLC, be a sole proprietorship, keep your business expenses separate from your your personal expenses, and because I'm selling merch, going on trips, doing paid advertisements and all that kind of stuff. So for tax purposes, it was like, all right, now you need to do this. So that's the point that I actually did it. Up until then, it was just been a poor allocation of resources. Like I get a much better return on investment focusing more on the content than the business side.
Yeah, and Derek, your YouTube, it just goes to a PayPal. It's just a simple personal thing, and you're not. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say this. I was going to say you don't have to worry about that for a while, but maybe your channel is going to take off and you get to worry about it in 6 months, which I'll be very jealous of you. But go ahead and do it. I wish you all success, but it'll be a while. You have to get much bigger before the amount of money that's coming in from here will be noticed by the IRS. And if it's just a channel, you really don't have to worry about it until you start making it more than just a channel. Like we're talking Richard here, who has all of the merch and the boxes that he's sending out, and now the coffee. And so that it just starts to really become bigger than just being a content creator. So,
I mean, I just happen to have these screenshots on my phone, but just to give you an idea, this is, I don't know if it'll show you that.
there we go.
So that's over 50,000 views, and I made $250. So you're doing that once a week, you're only making $1,000. Like I'm only making $1,000 a month off those 4 videos, if they get 50,000 views within that month.
Yeah.
So they don't. I mean, we were even looking at if somebody got 1 million views, how much money would they get? And it's just it's like the more views you get, the lower your CPM gets, so the less you're making per view. And I think 1 million views was with a low CPM, somebody was showing it was maybe $10,000. So you got to be really pumping out $1 million videos right up front to make enough money to live. I'm lucky because I have a catalog of 6 years almost now of videos almost every week, sometimes twice a week. So each video might make $5 or $10 a week, but when you got hundreds of them, it kind of adds up to the point where, okay, I'm bringing in enough revenue every month between this and Instagram and Facebook and merch sales and all this kind of stuff that I can quit my job. And if I can quit my job, then I have to show the IRS, this is how I'm making money to feed myself. And if I'm going to do that, then I got to make sure everything is, kind of, and we ended up hiring an accountant, my wife and I, just to kind of, because she's got a bunch of weird financial stuff on her side as well. So we have no idea what to do. So it costs a lot, especially with the business side of it. But I think I would much rather pay someone thousands of dollars to do my accounting for me than have to spend that time, take that time away from creating content to work on the business aspect of it, and then still probably screwing it up and end up getting fined by the IRS or something. So that's personally, that's just what I do. Just hired a local accountant to kind of help do the business side of it for me.
All right. Good old YouTube has given us long form video, short form video, and live videos to play around with. Oh yeah. And community posts. What is your philosophy as far as combination of how you use those tools?
Oh, geez. I don't think I have a written down specific strategy. In my head, the goal is at least 1 video a week and try to get 5 shorts out a week at a minimum. I would really like to live stream at least once a week. So doing something like this, I usually just end up running out of time. And it's just it's Friday at 5 p.m. and I'm starting to wrap things up, and I'm oh man, I never streamed this week, and I got plans Saturday and Sunday. So what am I going to do? So yeah, I mean, I think having a good mix is important, and you'll be able to see where your audience is really coming from. When I look at my analytics, I see my live streams do okay, but the majority of my viewers are coming from, my long-term content. They're watching the 10, 15-minute videos. The shorts are, after posting shorts for almost 2 years now, they're finally starting to catch up. I had a couple of them that have done really well. They're approaching 1 million views or something. So it's that's feeding a lot of traffic towards my channel. People are watching it. Maybe they're liking it or something, and then that's causing a few days later YouTube to recommend one of my other videos or one of my podcasts or something. So as much as I dislike the short form content and was really slow to kind of make that transition, because I was just like, I'm a YouTuber. It's 10, 15-minute videos or 20-minute videos. Like, that's what I want to make. I don't want to make TikToks. And I was really hesitant. And then really it just was pain, you know, like the pain got great enough. I decided I wanted to make a change because I was seeing people I came up with, you know, other creators that I was like growing right in step with, but they were making shorts and they were having a couple that blew up. And now all of a sudden they've got 1 million subscribers and I'm still sitting at like not even 200,000. And it's like, wow, like I should have been doing this a lot more consistently. And yeah, so even with shorts, like that's a whole other mindset is like, what people that watch shorts aren't the same people that are watching the long form. So what is it that they want to see? What is it they're responding to? And trying different things and getting mixed responses. And yeah, so still figuring it out.
So how do you work with the shorts audience versus the long form audience? How much overlap do you have on your audience of people who, I mean, was that a clear question?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe half, 70, somewhere between 50 to 70% of the people that watch my long form content also like the shorts. You know, they may not watch it as regularly, but there's also a good chunk that hate them. Like, you know, I'll post one, they'll get a notification, I uploaded a video, and they click on it thinking, oh yeah, 10-minute video, and then it's a 10-second short, and they're just like disappointed, and they leave a comment, let me know how disappointed they are and how sick they are of seeing these shorts videos. And they're like, I wish you'd go back to making the long form. And I'm like, I'm still making the long form. For whatever reason, YouTube's just not sending you those notifications. They're sending you notifications for the short, and I can't control that. And that's like one of the most frustrating things that YouTube's done in the past 3 or 4 years is switching that notification. It used to be you subscribe, you turn on all notifications. If I uploaded a video, you definitely got a notification. But you know, recently, even if you have all notifications on, it still will kind of only push ones to your phone that it thinks you're going to watch. Like, it's not going to give you a notification if it's, you know, pretty confident you're not going to end up clicking it. So I got just huge swaths of my viewers, of my audience, that just isn't getting notifications, and they don't even know I've been uploading videos until they leave a comment like, why aren't you uploading videos anymore? And I'm like, well, here's 5 links to videos that I've uploaded in the past couple of weeks that are long form. So that, you know, that's kind of frustrating. But
you mentioned lives. How far into your channel were you before you started a live session doing lives?
I think it was the second video I ever did was a live, to be honest. As soon as I was able to live stream on you, and it was a little bit different back then as far as like what the barrier was. I think it was a lot lower. I think I had to have like 1,000 subscribers and a couple 500 watch hours. I don't remember what it was, but it was so as soon as I could, I did. But that was also kind of what I was doing. Like, my focus at that point was on the Facebook group and on my Instagram. YouTube was just kind of a periphery thing that it was somewhere I would send people to get information because I made a video on the question that they were asking and I didn't want to type everything out. So I'll just give them a link. So it was a tool at that point. It wasn't like the focus or the priority. So I was working in the Facebook group, you know, trying to expand it and get it a lot of interaction and stuff. So I would have contests, like giveaways and things like that. And we would always do the announcement of the giveaway and then the drawings of the giveaway and live streams on YouTube. Okay, so that's when I started doing it.
You already had an established community at that point, and you said, okay, now I'm going live.
Yeah, because I kind of did it backwards than like I think some people decide I want to start a YouTube channel and they start from scratch and then they slowly build up the audience. I started on Instagram, just posting photos of my tarantulas and kind of grew an audience there just through the photography, and then kind of took that audience and tried to port them over to a Facebook group where we could all talk a lot easier than we could in the comment section of Instagram from like 2018 or whatever. So it was just, you were limited on how many characters could be in a comment, and it just was a mess. And so I was like, well, let's get a Facebook group going. And I think at that point, you know, it got like 10 or 20,000 people in it. And it just, you know, because of the way Facebook works, you start a tarantula group and it just starts recommending those posts in that group to a bunch of people that like tarantulas. So that group grew pretty fast. And then from there, I started the YouTube. So once like I had the channel and was like, this is something that people are responding to and I want to focus more time on, then I just kind of transferred that audience over to YouTube. So I got to like 1,000 subscribers within a few weeks. Like, as soon as people learned, oh, there's also this YouTube channel, then they, you know, so I kind of cheated on that end as far as like starting.
All right. Well, yeah, it sounds like it grew tremendously. And I'm continually surprised at how there's a handful of very large tarantula channels. And is the community really that big? I mean, obviously it is, but
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the really big channels like your Dark Den, Exotic Slayer, I always end up saying Slayer because my Appalachian accent, but Exotics Layer. And then there's I met him at Animal Con. What was it? Not this past one, but the one before. And I think he's from Poland or Germany, or maybe both. I think there was a Polish guy I met, and then this year there was a German guy. And they don't speak English, but they've got hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views on their videos. And the one thing those all those channels kind of have in common is that they're a little more vlog style, kind of like Tarantula Cats content. You know, it's like a day in the life of a spider keeper. This is what I'm doing, and you know, so it's like this soap opera or this like progression of a storyline of what they're doing, and so I think half their audience is people that are actually into spiders, but I also think half their audience are, I don't want to say voyeurs, but the type of people that enjoy that kind of vlog.
yeah, just like to watch.
You know, kind of, yeah, like they're scared to death of spiders, but that's what's fascinating about it, is seeing somebody that's working with them and is comfortable with them. And so I mean, that's the next video I'm uploading is more of a vlog style, which is something I don't normally ever do, but you can't really see because of the way the camera's cut right here, but right off screen, like not that enclosure, but right off screen, I've got another enclosure. It's this big, huge paludarium that I built. Had like, you know, a nice little water section in the bottom and this really cool rock backdrop, and had day geckos and red-eyed tree frogs, but also like shrimp and micro crabs and all kinds of fish and everything. Like, it was a really cool environment. And I came in a couple of days ago and noticed water beading all around the seal at the bottom.
Oh no.
And then through like some closer inspection, I realized it's actually been doing that probably for days. I just didn't know. But I also was out of town for, you know, in Tacoma, Washington for a while. So somewhere during that time, the seal had started to dry rot or whatever. It wasn't holding its seal. So water was kind of beading up and then slowly dripping and getting underneath the enclosure. So when you just look at it, it looked dry. It looked like there was no problem. But you stick a paper towel underneath the enclosure and it's just saturated. Like there's just standing water there. So we had to do a quick emergency kind of like save the fish, pull the fish, all the shrimp, the micro crabs, the snails, all that stuff out of there, drain it, clean it up, determine it. And it essentially was faced with the issue, like, are you going to re-silicone it, or are we just going to turn it into a kind of a terrestrial enclosure, get rid of the water feature? So put it in a false bottom. And yeah, so that's going to be more of a vlog style video and not something I do normally, but I'm hoping that maybe that'll kind of attract some of the people that enjoy that type of stuff and help the channel grow. So it's an experiment.
All right. And to people in the comments, yes, you please put in questions. Now, we're doing questions. The topic is about YouTube videos, creating YouTube videos. And so I know you're very used to asking me chameleon questions and Richard tarantula questions. But this particular video, this safe space here, is all about creating your own YouTube video. And so specifically ask questions about the YouTube journey, what it takes to create these, and things that would help you create your own channel. All right. When writing scripts,
just reading that one.
What? Okay.
I was just reading that. I was like, that's a good question.
Intentionally try making clippable moments or moments easily to turn into shorts. I'll let you go first.
I don't really, but when I write it in my mind, I'm kind of like, these 3 sections could be condensed into a short. You know, so I don't really write the short into it. That's probably a good idea. I mean, that would make your job a lot easier. But sometimes when I'm recording videos, I don't have a script. I just have an outline, because I find that an outline is a lot more personable. Like if I have a script, like when I'm doing a nature documentary or something, sometimes I become a little more, I don't know, like an actor voice or a radio voice. Like I'll record it with an inflection going up, and then I'll re-record it with an inflection going down, and I'll repeat the same line 5 or 6 times with different inflections in there, and then try to edit it all together to sound good. But if I just have an outline, then it's more like I'm like right now, I'm just talking to the camera. I got my bullet points that I need to hit, and it keeps my thoughts organized so I can make sure I get everything in the video and don't forget anything important. most of the time. and and that was something that I learned by watching a YouTube video about how to make YouTube videos. They highly suggested, there's a difference between reading like a teleprompter, like a scripted kind of speech, and talking more naturally using an outline. So I kind of go with the outline, but there's also AI like programs now that I think it's called, I don't remember what it's called. And they're not paying me, so I shouldn't promote them. But you can find them. I found them on Instagram. They kept advertising to me. CapCut. I don't think it's CapCut. But anyways, you upload, you put your link for your YouTube video in their website, and you submit it, and you get like 3 or 5 free shorts where it just kind of goes through and clips out, a 30-second clip and then converts it into vertical, and it'll even like track your face on the camera. So, make sure that you're in the shot, and it'll automatically add captions and all that kind of stuff. And it's a service you can pay for, but you can also get some free ones. I've used that a few times. It seemed to work pretty well. I mean, you might have to go in there and do some touch-ups, and especially if I'm using scientific names like Brachypelma or Grammostola, AI seems to flip out and have no idea what word I'm saying and make some crazy stuff. So you kind of go and fix that, the little details. But yeah, that stuff free. It's free, and it will like kind of, even when like I was writing or like editing the video, I was like, well, I could take these 3 sections and make an interesting short out of it. That AI program essentially did it saw the same thing and made it for me in, a matter of seconds.
And Stinky, I have done things like this where, like, I will have a topic and I will break it up into 10 sections with the intention of each section being something that I could make as a short. And so it's like I've got 10 shorts that I'm going to put into a long form video, and that makes it really easy to break it up. Now, that is something that I've done before, and I'm very proud of how I did it and how genius it was. But it also didn't get me much in return, which, by the way, is a characteristic of many of the genius things that I have done that I'm very proud of. It's like nice and artistic and genius, Bill, but you're not going to get anything from it. So what you need to consider, or I would suggest, is whether you really want your shorts to be just clips of your long, or if you're going to create a totally different outreach that's a shorts outreach. Because you can go through a lot of effort trying to repurpose your video, and I know there's all of the hustle bros tell you to do that because it saves time, but also you're not going to be as effective if you're just creating content and just shotgunning it all over the place. You're going to get a lot of exposure, but you're not really going to be creating an outreach. And so you got to decide if what you are trying to accomplish, whatever your purpose is in having this channel, is that realized by massive amounts of content shotgunned all over the place? Or is it better realized by having a specific strategy for shorts, a specific strategy for longs, etc.? And that's up to you to decide.
I can tell you in my experience, when I make a short out of a long form video, it doesn't perform as well as a short I made as a short, if that makes sense. When I create something with the intention, this is going to be a 10 or 15 second short form video. Just everything is a lot. I trim all that fat off, speak a little bit faster, like it's just a different, it's almost like a completely different format or a type of content. So sometimes they just don't mesh well. But the one thing that I did think of, something I do intentionally in long form videos for short forms, is usually the opening. If it's going to be like a dramatic opening, like I got stung by a scorpion or a tarantula ran up my sleeve, or we lift a rock and find a bunch of baby spiderlings or something, like that'll be a very captivating intro to a long form video, but that also would be a captivating, 10-second clip to post on TikTok and YouTube shorts that then feed into the video. Like, see what happens, watch the full video here. Like, those are the only times I really kind of build something into a long-term video, knowing that it's going to be clipped out as a short.
Okay. How do you keep your financials flowing well? Like, you depend more on merch, AdSense, sponsors? Yeah.
If I knew that answer, I probably wouldn't be in the financial situation I'm in right now. But it's tough. It's tough because it swings so wildly.
Yeah.
I'm used, or for a long time, I was very used to a consistent income. Like I know I'm working this many hours a week. I make this much an hour. My taxes are going to be about the same that are taken out of it. So that's the money I have to live off of. And then at that job, I also got bonuses for special things sometimes. And a lot of time those bonuses were like cash under the table. So I always kind of had that like stockpile of disposable money as well. So I was able to work in a budget and have like a slush fund. When I started doing this, there'll be months that I'm selling a lot of merchandise, like especially if like a coffee box or something is launched. Views are good. Yeah, there's just a lot of different kind of stuff that's coming in, but then I'll have a couple of months where the views aren't good and people aren't buying merch and just the economy's down. And you know, I'm making a third of what I did the previous quarter, and it's difficult. So one thing that I'm learning, which I have not ever been good at in my life, is budgeting and saving. Like
Mhm.
not going out to eat every night when I've had a really successful month and blowing through that money because you know it was tricky at first because like when I first went full time, it seemed like for a year or two it was pretty consistent. Like I was getting the same amount from YouTube every month. I was getting the same, or you know, around within like $100 for like it was just this consistent thing, and then and then it really started kind of swaying back and forth. And I think that has a lot to do with just the economy in general. And, you know, and also one thing that I'd noticed wasn't in there, like you get money from AdSense on YouTube. I get money from merch sales. I get money from affiliate links. But there's also sponsored content where like a company like Tarantula Cribs or the Spider Shop or somebody like that will pay me for an entire video, and usually it's just the entire video is promoting their business, whether we're doing an unboxing or a tour of their facility or whatever it is. So those are a lot better source of income than Google AdSense. But if the economy's down and all these businesses aren't selling a lot, then they don't have the money to put into advertising with someone like me. So then it's like my Google AdSense goes down, but then also my direct consumer, direct to business advertising revenue goes down even further, which is it's kind of bitter. So it's if you need consistency in your financial life, this is not the career to go into.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. All right. Bullet points. I need to do that. I sound corny when reading a script. Reading a script is a skill in itself. Absolutely. It is something that you don't do because you can't talk to the camera. You do it because you're good at it. And yeah, there's no way. You either have to learn how to be able to read. The thing is, when you're doing it to the camera, you can't read. You got to look at the camera. There's teleprompters, but then people will see your eyes go back and forth, and they'll love to tell you about it. By the way, I see your eyes going back and forth. Wow.
There's this local commercial for this law firm in Pittsburgh, and I'm a big Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so I'm watching every hockey game, and they're like a sponsor, so there's always their little ads, and you know, whenever they're cleaning up the ice, there's a timeout or something, and it's like four lawyers, and they all have their one little line that they're pitching, but there's like one lady, and you can see she's reading the script, not just of what but everybody else, like her eyes are just going back and forth. I'm like, the director or whoever was doing that should have been like, hey, stop, because you look
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know their phone number, even the name of the law firm, but I know that woman's face reading everybody else's lines.
Yeah. So Stinky, you got to get good at something so you're not reading. And I just think that's unless you can be far enough away and see the teleprompter so your eyes going back and forth aren't kept caught by the camera. But unfortunately, it's just something you got to get good at. And the way I did it, because I am a scripter, that is my comfort zone. I love massaging an entire podcast episode and then reading it and putting in the feeling points. That's my comfort zone, and you can't do that. I can't do that on camera. There's a AI company called descript.com. Wonderful. And they have this special feature where if you're reading, they will AI will move your eye and make your eye look like it's looking at the camera. And so you can read and yet still look at the camera. And fortunately, I have squinty eyes. It doesn't work on me. AI literally cannot pick out these little squinty eyes. So I have been forced to just work on bullet points and just be able to talk off the top of my head. And it took me years working on to be able to do that. Let's see. What app or program do you recommend for video editing?
Well, that's a controversial topic. I am a Adobe Premiere Pro guy, just because that's what I started out with. That was the best at that time, and all the YouTube channels that I was like, I really enjoyed watching and was learning well from. That was what they focused on. So I kind of like put all my eggs into that basket, and now I'm at the point like, and it's full of issues. There's so many bugs. It crashes. Sometimes there's issues with videos, not like a video clip that has some unknown error, and it's just a pain. Sometimes 95% of the time it works like a dream. I have no issues, but that 5% is so frustrating, especially after I spent 3 days editing a video. I've got like 30 hours into just the editing, not the writing and the filming and all that. And then there's some unknown exception and I can't figure it out. And I've got like 300 cuts in the video and I'm just like, I don't know what it is. And pretty much it gets to where you have to go through and delete one thing and then try to export it. It doesn't work. All right, we'll put that back. We'll delete the next thing. And that takes forever. So that is the one, like, if I had to do it over again, I probably would go with DaVinci Resolve. I think is what and it's free, or at least like the most basic version of it's free. So when somebody asked me, it's like, go with that. I use Premiere Pro and I like it, but I've spent years learning all the intricacies of it, and still there's a lot I have to learn. Like there's so many different options in there, but it's kind of expensive. I think it's like $60 a month or something.
Yep.
This is the best time of the year to get in on it though, because I'll have a Black Friday sale and it'll be like 40% off for a year subscription. But DaVinci Resolve is probably the easiest way to go if you're just starting out and you don't know anything about it. That's what my kid just started making YouTube videos. He's really into robotics at his high school, and he was wanting to do that. And that's what I suggested he use, because it's free and it's intuitive. And then some of that stuff you can actually, if you decide to go to like a Premiere Pro or somewhere else, Final Cut or something, a lot of the skills and the hotkeys and stuff like that are similar. So most of that knowledge can transfer.
Well, I will say I spent years upon years in the Adobe ecosystem in the Creative Cloud, still have it. And so I have used Premiere Pro for years upon years upon years. And it wasn't until, I keep hearing about DaVinci Resolve and such. And it wasn't until Premiere crashed on me and lost so much. I got so pissed that I said, never again. I am done with you. I am so pissed because it's so complicated. It's so powerful, but Adobe has never been known for its user interface. It's got so many buttons and things to twiggle, and they got menus upon menus, and to find something, like I discover something in other programs. Hey, why doesn't Adobe do this? And I go into the program, Adobe, yeah, it does it. It's done it for years, but it's just been hidden. So, but anyway, finally, it pissed me off so much that I said, all right, I am forcing myself to work with DaVinci Resolve. And so I shut down Premiere. I pulled up Resolve, and I've been working Resolve ever since. It does the same stuff. It's just as powerful. And the free version, why is it free? I know why it's free. It's because it supports their high-end audio equipment, and video equipment, but it's an excellent program. So start off with DaVinci Resolve, the free version, and it will take you never have to go to another program. It is the final program, and it's strange that it's free. You can do an upgrade. I've done the upgrade, so I'm able to. There's some features you're not going to have to worry about those features to begin with, and so that's what I suggest. If you're on mobile, CapCut is a good one.
Adobe Rush is also a pretty decent one on mobile if you're just doing it. And I don't know. I don't think it's free though. I think I get it because I have the whole Creative
Richard?
Cloud thing.
I'm sorry, Adobe, you had your chance to not piss me off. and you
Okay, you
blew
got
it.
you got a resentment here against Adobe.
And
Honestly, if it wasn't for Photoshop and Lightroom, I probably would have switched to DaVinci Resolve because I got a Black Magic Pocket Cinema camera that came with a code for like a lifetime pro version of
oh
Resolve,
man,
and it's still sitting there. Like I'm like, one day I'm gonna lose I'm just gonna lose my patience with Adobe. Like that's it. Like I'll hit that wall you hit, but
yep.
or as of now, I'm not there. So I'm saving it just in case. So I
The
have it
thing is,
there. I don't.
when you switch programs, you got to learn it, and so there's this learning curve. And even if you are in an abusive relationship, I won't go there. Even if you're in a working with a program that isn't good to you, um, it's also something you know how to get around. And so, yeah, it just came to the point where I couldn't take it any longer.
It's also compatibility, like my video, my audio. I mean, pretty much everything I use, the music license, like everything was built to be used on or formatted to be used in Adobe Premiere. So sometimes there's like a couple of the action cameras I have, they have issues in Resolve or pretty much anything other than Adobe when it comes to like rendering the files. So yeah, Adobe kind of like monopolized the space for a while, I think. So a lot of gear was kind of built with their ecosystem in mind, but I think Resolve is really changing that. I mean, and Apple kind of had their own thing for a while, but yeah.
See, how can I find content to make when I only have a handful of T's that don't care? Always warrant making a video. I'm not sure what T's mean. Do you know?
Tarantulas.
Oh, okay.
We refer to tarantulas as T's because
Okay,
we're
there you go.
lazy.
Okay. Well, then I'll let you answer this one. Um,
Well, I mean, there is a channel, Tarantula Haven. She has 2 tarantulas and she posts every single week. She even made a magazine for like years, the Spinneret magazine. So the amount of tarantulas you have, I don't think really has any bearing. It's about your passion, it's about your knowledge, and it's sometimes it's just about communicating. Like you can only have 2 tarantulas, but have opinions on all kinds of things that are related to the tarantula hobby, whether it's like breeding or a new species that's discovered or some drama that's going on in the hobby. Or I mean, there's so many different things you can talk about. You can review products, I mean, everything from like misting bottles to food dishes to hides to businesses that sell tarantulas or that sell enclosures or sell bioactive supplies. Like there's all kinds of stuff you can do. It doesn't just have to be content about the one tarantula you have because they're kind of boring sometimes. Like I got some species that I won't see for months at a time, especially if they're fossorial or they're in pre-molt. So I can't make a video on them every single week, but I can make videos about things that have to do with the hobby in general.
and Chris, I'm going to say having 2 tarantulas can actually be a benefit to you, because it's on YouTube you already see people saying they always have a new thing. Well, this is my new pet. This is my new pet, and yeah, that's like digital candy. But when you have 2 tarantulas, you can focus on how to best take care of a tarantula, and so you can be talking about, now I'm making a bigger cage, a bigger environment, so I can see more natural behaviors. And so you can work on, I mean, I'll say in the chameleon world and reptile world, we're talking about enrichment now. It used to be, how many could you breed? Are you a breeder? How many species do you have? Now it's not about how many do you have, it's how well are you taking care of one or two. And so you can easily jump on that and just find better ways to enrich your tarantulas. And that would be a wonderful channel.
I think that's an excellent point. I also think having only a few tarantulas is a lot more relatable to the majority of viewers out there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got hundreds of species. Tarantula Cat's got hundreds of tarantulas. Dark Den, like Pecco's got a lot of the big creators. We have massive collections because this is our full-time job, so we have the time and the passion or whatever to take care of them. But majority of people have 10 tarantulas or less, and seeing a content creator out there that kind of mirrors that experience, I think would be something that people would really be interested in. And the same thing, like that's a pivot I made about a year ago on my channel. I had like a whole video and a podcast about it. Like I'm not focused on collecting Pokemon anymore. Is essentially what it felt like sometimes. Like a new species was offered in the US. It's like, oh, I got to have that in my collection because I got to make videos about it and I got to take photos of it and post it and all that kind of stuff. And I've really cut back on the amount of new species I'm getting and become very selective. And I have turned my focus more to making all their enclosures bioactive or at least naturalistic and trying to make larger enclosures with a lot more enrichment, because the more we learn about tarantulas, the more we're discovering that they're a little bit more intelligent than we thought. And just providing them with the bare, like the most basic necessities, it's okay, but they could do a whole lot better as far as like their stress levels and the cortisone levels in their body and stuff, if we provide them with more places to hide and essentially more enrichment. And so that's like the change that I'm making personally, that I think the hobby in general, like, I mean, you said that's what's going on in the chameleon world. You're also seeing that in the ball python world. And I mean, pretty much anything reptile related, the shift is going more towards enrichments, bigger enclosures, a lot more plants and just a better temperature gradients and all that kind of stuff. And I think the tarantula hobby is always kind of following behind a year or 2 or 5 from what's going on in the reptile space. So I think that's a great suggestion, a good direction to go in.
All right, Stinky's wanting to know, what do you guys feel is the make or break for getting new viewers?
Am I going first?
Yeah,
thumbnail is 100% it's the first thing they see. A thumbnail and the title is probably the most, at least in my experience and from what I've learned, that's the most important thing. Like, content is king. Like, once they click, you want them to stay, but you can have the best content in the world, and if you don't have a compelling thumbnail and title, they're never going to click on it. And I struggle with that a lot, because for some reason I could have 100 good, like, positive comments on a video, and there's one guy that says something negative. That's the only comment I internalize. Like, every the 100 positive things people said, it's like, oh yeah, you like the video, that's cool, but this guy thought my title was clickbaity, and then that gets in my head, and I don't want to make clickbait titles. I don't want to especially when it comes to clickbait. To me, that means bait and switch. Like, I'm going to promise you one thing's going to happen, and you watch it and do the entire video I'm alluding that it's going to happen, and then at the very end it doesn't happen. Like, or my thumbnail and title say this is what's going to happen in the video, and you click it and it's not about that at all. That's what clickbait is. That's not what I do. But sometimes I exaggerate, or I dramatize, or whatever the right word is. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, Tom Patterson got bit by a huge spider in Peru, and people are like, oh, he did get bit by he wasn't hurt. Like, it didn't really envenomate him. There was no drama to it, but that was the most exciting thing that happened in the video. So I used that in my thumbnail and my title, and that video did a much better than any of the other videos in that series. And some people were like, well, it was clickbait. I'm like, no, he actually got bit by the spider. It's on camera. It just wasn't maybe as exciting or dramatic as I led it on to be in the title, but it got the clicks, and people stayed around to watch it. So as long as you're not baiting and switching, I think having a compelling title and thumbnail is the most important thing for your video to help your channel grow, at least.
Yeah, your thumbnail. I always say you've got a split second for your thumbnail to get them to read your title, and the title's got a split second to say, okay, confirmation it's worth watching this video. And then the video, you got to keep them watching the video. So you've got to deliver on whatever promise you made in the thumbnail. And so those are the 3 things that work together. But thumbnail is where it starts. Yeah.
And it has to be a thumbnail that's going to respond, that your audience is going to respond to. Because I know that how I make thumbnails and how Tarantula Cat makes thumbnails are completely different. Like, hers are a lot more flat in color. She always is in there. Like her face or a screen grab of her is in the thumbnail. And those seem to do really well for her channel. And I try those on my channel, and I guess it's my face. People don't really respond positively to it. They're like, oh, that guy, I don't want to watch that guy.
Yeah.
But if I just do a really beautiful macro photo of the spider that I'm talking about, sometimes I don't even need to put text on there. Just that photo performs the best. And now that YouTube has the A/B testing on the thumbnails, I can upload 3 different versions. So I can have one where I'm in the like an outline of me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I put myself in the thumbnail, one that's just the photo and text, and one that's just the photo. And then we'll run that test for a couple of weeks, and one of them will get a considerable more clicks. And then it's like, okay, this is the one you should use for the video. And that's the one I use. And then maybe a year later, I might try it again if that video's dropping off on views, because people's taste will change, or what they're looking for will change. So it's something you kind of got to keep revisiting.
Okay, Natasha is asking, I know Tarantula Collective was started with high-end equipment. What would you recommend for new tubers? I can start with that. Your smartphone. I did hundreds of my videos with my smartphone. And the only reason why I upgraded to something else is because I needed a very good picture taking for going to Madagascar. And so up until I've got 750 videos, over 750, going towards 800 videos on my channel. And other than the live ones, which were a desk cam, all of them were done with my iPhone, except for the ones in the past month. So you can use your smartphone. Now, get a microphone. Get a Bluetooth lapel microphone. Audio is key, but earn that. We've got...
That's me. I wanted to share a screen. Just because that comment was, they know I started with high-end equipment. So I wanted to show you my first video. Like, this is literally a Samsung Galaxy S5 maybe, or something like that. Like, it was an old, I don't even know if it could like record 4K. I think this was all recorded in 1080p. And I just used a little cheap Amazon tripod I got for $15 with a cell phone holder. And that's how I made this video, just trying different camera angles. And this was like this is what I decided I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, is because of this video. Like, it did really well. I mean, it's got 135,000 views, and that's all it was. It was just my cell phone. I didn't even have a mic. And that was like when I was editing that video and then going back and watching it a week later and a month later, it was like the audio was the worst part. And I think as content creators, especially new content creators, we think video quality is the number one thing. But if you're watching a video, it's 50% video, 50% audio. So if you don't have good audio, your video is not going to be near as good as it could be. So like Bill was saying, get a Bluetooth mic, get a little, I got this little Rode shotgun mic that goes on top of the camera, but can also plug right into your cell phone. At least it could when cell phones had auxiliary jacks or auxiliary inputs. But they even have that was the Rode version. I think it was like $50, but there was I think it was called Movo, or there's always like a Chinese knockoff that's like $20, and they work almost identically. So, I mean, just as well. So just get a cheap somewhere between 20 and $50, whether it's a Bluetooth, like lapel mic, or a shotgun mic that goes on the camera, and just get the mic as close to you as you can, and your audio quality is going to be exponentially better.
Yeah, you just go to Amazon, type in whatever phone you have, lapel mic for iPhone or Android, and you're going to get stuff. $20-$40 will get you a good mic. That in your smartphone. Do not, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I suggest do not go on a shopping spree. The problem with going on a shopping spree is you're going to spend a lot of money for high-tech equipment that is only going to give you high-tech output if you've got the skill to use it properly. If you don't have the skill to use the high-tech features, then it's not going to give you anything better than your phone will. And as you grow as a content creator, you're going to get your own style. And once you know your own style, there's going to be certain features that you want to look for that will help you do what you do best. And if you buy it right at the beginning, like this big camera right at the beginning, I just got a very nice camera. If I got that right at the beginning, I would not have the features that I need. I need a fully articulated screen so I can do the vlog stuff, and I need a viewfinder on this camera so I can take pictures noonday in Madagascar. You might be surprised at how hard it is to find a camera that has both of those features. But since I knew I needed them, I found the camera that got me that. If I bought a camera right at the beginning, I wouldn't know what I needed. And so I would have spent a lot of money for a camera that I couldn't use properly to give me the benefit for the money, return on investment, and it wouldn't have the features that I ended up needing. So work with your phone, get a cheap lapel mic, and just start making content. And you can get more equipment when you need it.
Just to kind of expand on what you were just saying with some of my experience. Like I said, I started out with just a smartphone, upgraded to get a mic. And then I made videos for a while, and there is an app. I think it's on, I know it's on Apple, because that's but I think they've also released it on Android. I know they have because I used it. It's called Filmic Pro. I think you do got to pay a little bit per month for it, but it essentially gives you it gives you complete control over your camera's phone. And I think even my Samsung now, I don't even need to use the app because there's just like a pro section, like a pro tab I can use, but I can control the shutter speed, control the ISO, control the frame rate, all that kind of stuff, the color grading. Learn to use those features on your phone first, and then that'll prepare you for those features, especially like if you get like a nice DSLR or a mirrorless camera. Those are things you're going to need to know how to use, and they're just different settings that you're going to need to know how they all interact and how they work together. Because I mean, what's the point of buying a $5,000 camera and then just having everything on auto? Like it's really not going to give you any better than what your phone would. So if you want to kind of get that cinematic feel, you got to learn how to use those settings and really understand the camera. And like I think a Canon, like their flagship camera body is like 20 grand. I use Panasonic Lumix cameras. I think their flagship, at least in the Micro Four Thirds, is like 2,500 or something like that. So I bought this camera I'm using right now. I think it was like $2,500 when it first came out, but it had all of the video thing, like the 120 frame rates or 120 frames per second. I think I can go up to like 300 or something like that frames per second. And so, I mean, I can do the slow motion stuff. It's got good autofocus, but it also is good with manual focus. But what was most important to me, kind of like what you were saying, is I need a camera that's going to do really good as far as the video is. I have a lot of control over it. I can do the slow motion, but also is going to be really good with still photography, like the macro photography.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found had the best image stabilization, the best autofocus, the best range of lenses and everything was either the Olympus or the Lumix. I went with the Lumix just because I had a friend of mine had a Lumix camera as well, and so I got to try his out. But then I also knew if I buy this camera body, I can borrow his lenses if I needed. So I didn't have to spend so much. But the whole point of saying all this is camera 2,500, lens 1,500 to 2 grand. Then you got to get the mics and you got to get the batteries and you got to get the lights and all that kind of stuff. And you create this video and you go to put it on your computer. You recorded it in 4K or 5.4, 8K or whatever it is. Then your computer's like, I can't handle that. My graphics card is not capable to edit 4K video. So then I had to drop like over 5 grand on a computer just to edit video. So it's like what I thought was going to be a $5,000 investment into my channel. To be able to use that 5,000, I had to spend another 5,000 just to be able to edit the footage. So that's something you also got to look into. Like the nicer the camera you get, the better quality files you're dealing with, the much better of a CPU and GPU and RAM and everything you're going to need to have in a computer, which gets really expensive.
Yeah. So Eric, this is the channel that I'm on right now for those of you who are here. And if you're interested in how to put together these YouTube videos, these are, just take a look. These are the videos that we have, beginning YouTube video equipment here, episode 8, intro into editing and how to do thumbnails and titles. This is all part of this program that we're actually kicking off this week on this channel. And this is why I have this channel, so I can do stuff like this, that the chameleon people are going, what's this? So if you've got these questions, go over to my channel and just take a look at this series. It is specifically designed for people who are just starting off and have those very basic questions. And so I invite you to jump on over there. Let's see. All right. Everybody, if you've got any more questions, Joe, go ahead and put them in. I know we had to jump over a lot of comments there because I got 15 minutes behind, which is very common in my live sessions. We get
Sorry.
Oh, no, this is everybody. At least anybody who's watching my live sessions knows this very well. I get talking, I'll get 15 minutes behind. So
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and start closing this up. So put whatever questions you have in.
I did see one comment I'd like to respond to from Stinky.
Okay, which one is this?
Yeah, it says making videos. Wait, that's not it. Also, reptile and inverts are way easier to shoot with your phone. Do you see that comment? I don't know how far back I am in the lag. My comment section is just 4 up. but I don't know, or 5 up
Oh, okay.
from the
I
bottom.
got a whole lot
But
more.
yeah, I don't think I'm up to speed. But
Okay, well, go ahead and answer.
I
I'll look.
for a beginner, I would 100% agree with that. But if we get into macro, like a lot of the photos that I do where I'm like focusing in on the eyes of a spider, or filming isopods or springtails or little slings or something like that, a cell phone, even with a really fancy macro lens attachment on there, is not going to do what the sensor inside their cell phones are too small to do a lot of macro photography, and the lenses are too small, so you get a lot of weird warping and distortion on the edges. So if you want like clean macro photography and macro videography, you got to get at least a mirrorless camera or something like that, because it's just the sensor's just not big enough to pull enough. There's just not enough pixels for a sharp image. So that was like the main thing that got me to switch from I was like, I got to get off my camera and I got to get a real phone, is that I really wanted to get those beautiful macro videos, and it just wasn't capable on a smartphone camera.
And is it worth having a large selection of videos in the bank prior to starting a YouTube video? So, talking about batching.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing you can do before you make your first video public, is have 5 or 10 videos already shot, edited, and uploaded to YouTube, so that you can have that bank in reserve. So I know for the next 6 weeks, I've already got videos made and scheduled. So every video I make from that point forward is just going into the bank. So if I got to take a week off because I'm sick or I go on vacation or something, I know that I've got those videos ready to roll over. I did not do that when I started. So from the beginning, I was just constantly behind. I'd upload a video and immediately just have to start writing, filming, and editing next week's video. And
Yep.
occasionally I will stop and be like, I'm not making videos for a month, but I'll still be making videos and then have them uploaded, and I'll get that bank, and then I'll be good for like 6 months or a year. But then I slowly end up using those free weeks, and then I'm back to where I'm chasing my tail again.
Yeah, guys, it's a great idea to start making videos before you do the actual launch, if for no other reason other than how long it takes you to make a video. If it takes you a week to make a video, then you should have a video release every other week. So if however long it takes you to make a video, double that, and that's how often you should release a video. Or else you are going to be on the hamster wheel and you are going to be constantly stressed. And I got to tell you, the one way to kill creativity in a channel is to always have to be under pressure to produce. And because then you just start producing to produce to produce to hit the deadline, and you're not, I mean, you'll grow, but that's not the way you want to do it. So, uh, you can say, I want to make a weekly video. Well, if that's the case, then you need to be able to make 2 videos in a week, or else you're going to be miserable, which a lot of people are, which
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time being miserable because of that. But,
Yeah.
but like Richard said, you're, don't, I gotta say, be realistic when you first start off, because I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I still struggle with making sure that I'm far enough ahead that I don't work to deadlines. That is miserable, and I know we all end up doing that a lot, but don't start off that way if you can help it. So
And one way you can help that is never record one video at a time. Like that's something that took me years to learn, and I occasionally forget it from time to time. But if I set up my lights and my cameras, I'm recording 2 or 3 videos at the minimum, because it sucks to like take an hour to get all the lights set up and the camera balanced and everything's looking good, and then record one video and then take it all down and put it away. Or even if I leave it up, like now it's just in the way. And so I try to have at least 2 or 3 videos that I hit record. I can record them all, put them all, and then I have weeks to get it all up. Like right now, I've got 5 videos that I've already filmed. The only reason they're not out is I don't have the time to sit down and edit them. But at least I know I've already written them and filmed them, and they're on my computer just waiting to be edited.
yeah, that's nice. I love that. Boy, that's luxury, having all that. It's very
uh,
strange. that like right now, I'm producing a video a day, a long form video a day for this create your own YouTube series. So every weekday, I'm having a 12 to 30-minute video being released, and it's like, and so for me to do that, I need to go off and I need to record 3 videos at least 2 times a week. And it's an amazing, it is a exercise in self-discipline to be able to do that. And it's amazing that I can pull that off when I'm doing a video a day. But if I'm doing a video a week, I end up getting behind. And I don't, I mean, I know it's because, well, I've got a whole week to do it. So I get myself into that situation. But, it's just one of those things. You got to be disciplined about it and force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
So,
And don't spread yourself too thin. Like that's the problem I'm having right now because I'm doing my own stuff, like making my own videos, doing the photography, which is like what I like the most is just the photography, but that doesn't pay any bills at all. So that's my fun. But I'm also making channels or videos weekly for the Tarantula Cribs YouTube channel, like doing a lot of care videos and rehousing videos and stuff showcasing their products, and that pays me. So if I only have 3 days or whatever to focus on work, I could either make my own video, which may get 10,000 views, and like I just showed you earlier, it would take 50,000 views to make $250, or I could contract myself out to somebody like to another business to make a YouTube video for their channel, and sometimes I'll get paid that much that day, for that video. Like I'll get $250 or $300 to make a video. So in that situation, or I mean, depending on the video, like sometimes it's a lot more, sometimes it's a lot less, but it's so that's like the for sure money. So sometimes I'll skip a video that week to make a video for somebody else that's paying me right away, so I don't have to wait a month or 6 months to get the revenue that's going to be generated from a video I put up on my own channel. That makes sense. Stinky asked another question that when you come up with video ideas, do you make something you think is interesting or that your audience will think is interesting? I feel like we talked about that earlier, but I try to split it between the two so that I'm doing stuff that I think is interesting, but I'm also reading the comments on Facebook and Instagram, and especially in the YouTube video comments, what questions people are asking. And if I get the same question over and over again, it's like, all right, that's a video I got to make. But then I also get video ideas. Like I love watching nature documentaries and, stuff like that on TV. And I'll see something that I'm like, well, that's really interesting. And so I'm just going to show you real quick. I've got this list here of video titles, and it's pretty much just like the title of the video or the concept of the video. I've probably got like 10 or 15 here. I'm sure I got another list on some other device, my computer or something. So it's just the idea pops in my head. I don't know how you all are, but my brain's like Swiss cheese. So the idea comes, I need to write it down immediately. Because if I'm like, oh, I'll write it down, I'll remember it by tomorrow. And I completely forgot it by tomorrow. So I write those things down. And then when I'm in a position where it's like, I need a video, I don't really feel inspired, I don't have any ideas, then I can go to that list and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a really cool concept. And I make a video on it.
All right. So is it easier to do a live over doing a video or a short?
A live, 100%.
Yes.
I can just get on here and BS and talk, and yeah, you don't have to edit it. I don't have to worry about pretty much. I mean, once the camera's on, the lights are set up. It's probably the easiest content to do, which is crazy that I'm not doing it more often.
Yeah. And so the challenge with the live is it's a lot easier when you have a community already built up through the other things that you've done. If you do a live just cold, you're just waiting for people to come by, it gets really difficult to do it. So lives, you need something that is going to bring people to the live. Either you market your live, I'm going to be going live and I'm going to be doing this on the live, so people say, wow, hey, I want to do that. Or you already have a community that will gather. I do a lot of lives. I've actually changed most since my outreach has always been about building community. I do a lot of tutorials and all that kind of stuff, but it's always been about building community. So me doing a live session is core and central to my purpose of this outreach. And even then, even with the the audience that I had built up with, I think like 7 years of the podcast, still took a while for my live sessions to gain momentum. And now they're absolute the central core of my outreach. So lives are a tough way to go. They really are, but they're easy to do. So
yeah. And then like at the point that I'm at, like I do a live, I've got 187,000 subscribers. So even if just a small fraction of them turn into the live stream, I'm going to have some good views. And then it just automatically posts as a video other people can watch later on. So I don't have to worry about editing it or anything like that. Just make a thumbnail and put a title on it. But also the benefit of live streams are, I don't know if anybody's doing it on this one, but like there'll be people sending in like super chats and stickers and all that kind of stuff that really helps support. If you're doing this full time, that's a source of income that I feel like I'm just not utilizing. Even, I mean, sometimes just going live for an hour and just talking to my fans, I might make $100 just in like tips, and it's stupid that I'm not doing it. So it's really something that I should focus on. And doing stuff like this really kind of puts the fire back in me, because I'm like, this is fun. I enjoy it. And I feel like doing live streams with people like you and other creators is the best way to reach new audiences. Because like, I know I got people on my channel watching this live stream on your channel, and probably vice versa. So we're kind of meshing our, anybody that might be interested in tarantulas, but is more of a chameleon person, might be like, oh, I'm going to go check out his channel now. And there might be some people that are watching my channel that feel like, well, I'm kind of interested in chameleons, so I'll go check out his channel. So it's a really good way to expand your base and get to know a lot of different people. And I think it's a lot easier doing a live stream like this, where I'm having a conversation with you, as opposed to just like talking to my camera by myself in a room all alone.
Yeah, you got at least one.
Oh, heck yeah. Thanks so much, Stinky.
So, all right, we'll do this last one here. Would you recommend voiceover first or talk during videos? And I'll start with this one. All depends on what you can do. Talking during the video is always, the more personal you can be on camera, the better the connection with your audience. But if you freeze when you take a look at the camera, then doing a voiceover is the easier way. But actually, we can go back a step further. The easiest thing is to do a bunch of B-roll. You can write whatever you want to and have the text on the screen and some music in the background. Those are visual storytelling, and that's a valid YouTube method, and can be very, very popular if you do it right. And that requires no voice and no face. That's where I say start off if you're really camera shy, and then you step up to a voiceover, to where instead of it's just the text at the bottom, you take that text out and you make it your voice and voiceover. And then when you're ready, you step up to being on camera. Hi. And so that's a progression that you can take if you're working on the skill of being in front of the camera, which a lot of us had to do.
I think that if you look at my videos over the past 18 months, that's something I'm trying to figure out myself. Like, I've got two different like general styles of video. I got the ones that I'm in, and I'm the personality. I'm talking. I might drop in some B-roll from time to time or different camera angles, but the whole video, like the audio, the story that's being told is me talking to the camera. I also have the other style of videos where it's like the faceless YouTube videos. You see average like make $1 million a year with faceless YouTube videos. So I never show my face. It's just from the opening scene to the end scene. I recorded like a voiceover, and I've edited the video to kind of fit that, or vice versa. Sometimes I'll edit the video and then record the voiceover to fix it, whatever is easiest. And there's two separate viewers on my channel. Like, there are people that just love those videos. They hate when they see me, because they leave comments like, I want to see spiders, not your ugly face.
Not your ugly face.
Because I did an unboxing with Spider Shop a couple months ago, and that's like the majority of the comments on there are like, we only like the spiders only took up like a quarter of the video. Most of it was you and this guy talking, and it's like, obviously that's somebody that came to my channel from the faceless YouTube videos that I've been making, like the nature documentaries, the weird facts about spiders and stuff like that. And I feel like for a long time you could do one or the other, or you could do both. The issue with that I'm finding with the faceless YouTube videos over, especially like the past 6 months or so, is if people don't see your face on camera, they're automatically assuming it's that AI driven crap that's all over YouTube now, where somebody just typed into Chat GPT, write a 10-minute YouTube video on this, and then they went and put that into an AI voice kind of thing and put together a video in a couple of hours. And yeah, I watch those videos sometimes because I mean I'm interested in the topic and I'm watching. I'm like, this AI voice is a little annoying, or this script is a little choppy. I can tell this was just computer generated, like the entire thing. And so no, a lot of times I'll click off if it starts getting too annoying. But I think that as viewers, they've become accustomed to like looking for that and kind of looking down, like in a derogatory way, to the AI made stuff. So if you're not showing your face, there's always that portion of the audience that's just going to immediately assume if I don't see a human face, it's obviously been AI. So I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's something to look out for recently.
This is a fun thing as we close off. James is saying, yeah, I'm starting to show again, Bill. You look pretty tired on Saturday. I do officially 2 lives a week. Tuesday nights, Saturday afternoon, and now I'm doing an unofficial live because I've got to do fruit fly cultures, and so I just turn on like tonight at 5 o'clock. In 2.5 hours, I'm going to be back live on this channel, and anybody who wants to come watch me make fruit fly cultures, just come and hang out. I'm also going to be making chocolate chip cookies because the thumbnail that I did, I just for my last episode, it was all about thumbnails, and so I just picked. Let's just, for example, make chocolate chip cookies. And so I kind of did an example of if I was making a chocolate chip cookie video, and it was so good that I said, okay, I got to make chocolate chip cookies. So at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific, I'm going to be live on this channel making chocolate chip cookies. Anyway, that's beside the point. But what's interesting is I have got such a core audience of people in this community. I mean, my community has become so tight knit, and I mean, they are taking care of each other. You watch in the comments and chat, they're taking care of each other. They're sending each other gifts, and it is just such a very cool dynamic. But they know me so well that I mean, when I come on and I say, okay, I'm on. Hey, everybody, they can tell if I'm faking it. They know me so well that I cannot get away with anything.
I predict this time next year, Bill's just going to be live streaming 24/7. He's going to have cameras set up in his house. They'll be in his kitchen. They'll be in his living room. They'll be in his animal room, and you can just watch whatever. He's just narrating his life to us all.
Yes. So, all right. Well, oh yes, please, everybody, don't forget to like and share, subscribe. Please subscribe to my new channel so I can actually get monetized on this thing because it's kind of strange starting off at 0, and boy, they don't let me do a whole lot of stuff. So
no, they don't. I think I was your 201st subscriber.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
I was like, oh, he's got 200 subscribers. Click, click. But you're up to 206 now.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. And by the way, as far as tech and stuff, have you seen this, Richard?
I had the original one, like the DJI Osmo Pocket, like the first generation, and I still use it. It doesn't have that fancy flip screen, though.
Oh, my goodness.
It just has a little tiny 1-inch.
This has changed everything for me because when I go out into the field and I want to do the talking head, it was so much for me to set up my phone, set up the put it on the gimbal, and then set up the microphone. And now this thing, I just pull up the microphone, it connects automatically, put it on my shirt, and I just start talking. It's been a game changer. Everybody, this is nice. The Osmo Pocket 3, and it's just, if you want to be doing talking head videos like I do a lot of, then you know this is a great piece of equipment. So
it's in the. Can I show you my new camera? Let me go grab it though. So you gotta hold on for like 10 seconds.
Okay, we'll hold. Well, let's see. Can I? Let's see. Okay. So, where's my camera? Where did I put my camera? I'm not sure everybody my new camera, but I mean, really, what's cool is when you spend like all your time working with just your smartphone, you learn what you need. And that is the most important thing, is learning what you need and only buying what you need. And once you do it, then you know what to get.
All right, this is my new favorite camera. I brought this with me to Peru. It's the Insta360 Ace Pro. I think you would like it though, because check this out. Boom.
Oh,
Look at that flip up screen. And this thing, I mean, if you watch the videos, I was holding this in my hand when I fell down the mountain in Peru, and it didn't break. So, I mean, it's hardcore, it's waterproof, it's got that nice flip screen on it so you can see exactly what it is that you're looking at. So it's really good for vlogging. And I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, it's not, but it has face track. So it just like that DJI Osmo does. It's like, that's the face. That's what I need to keep focus on. It's really good, super good image stabilization. So it's almost like I put it on level horizon mode, and it's like I have a gimbal. Like it is.
Okay, so even though your hand is going like this, it stabilizes the image. Oh, that's nice.
So like I ended up not using my Osmo Pocket at all because this thing was so stable, and it was very impressive. But it also has a low light setting, which most action cameras, or even like the DJI Osmos, when you're in a dim lit situation, it has a hard time tracking you, it has a hard time seeing your face, it has a hard time focusing, and then the image is just super noisy with all because it just jacks up that ISO. This camera has an AI ISO, kind of like, I don't even know what it is, but it's a low noise, noise reduction, essentially AI generated noise reduction. So I can put it in the low light setting. So we were like in the jungle at night just with headlamps. Like I couldn't see without the headlamps on, but that was enough light for that camera to be able to almost look like it was dusk without a whole lot of noise. So I was like super impressed. No like streaks, no jittery video. It blew me away. And then the fact that it's waterproof is great. It's got a great battery life. You can switch the batteries out. I mean, it was just, and it's only a couple $100. So I was just like, this thing, the majority of my Peru videos, except for like the macro shots, was all recorded on this. And the sensor is massive. I can take 8K photos. So it's, it's like, it's pretty impressive.
And what is it?
There's like, it's the Insta360 Ace Pro.
Okay. Because
it's not like an actual 360 camera. Like they have those.
Yeah, but that's okay. Cameras. Because that could replace my ZV-1.
Oh yeah.
And the thing, what you said is that waterproof is when I'm going through Madagascar, let me tell you, that's the one thing about this thing. It's not waterproof. And I bought the care warranty thing. So I have 2 replacements that'll cover my 2 Madagascar trips if this doesn't make it.
Oh, and this thing has a good warranty too. Like you crack the screen or the lens or anything like that, I think it's for the first year or 3 years or something like that. You can send it back, they'll replace it, or they'll fix it and send it back to you at no charge, which is cool. But then, so I had actually done that because I scratched the lens. So I sent it back to get it repaired. And then I was going to Toronto and I needed a camera like that, but I didn't want to buy a camera from Amazon, the exact same camera. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I got this thing, which is the Insta360 Go 3S, which also has the little flip up screen, but you can see it's much smaller. You know what I mean? Like it's much smaller than this camera. But the reason I really liked it is because this pops out. And now I've got a monitor. It connects through Bluetooth. So I can like attach this to my hat, but still like kind of look down and see what it is I'm filming. It has like a little necklace.
That's
so you can wear it like
cool.
this under your shirt. It's like a magnetic necklace. You can just like stick it to stuff, and it's magnetic. So it's just, I'll move this up so you can see like, it just will stick to it. It's really cool. And it's also still 4K. It's not the 8K, but it's great. It's also, this is waterproof. This isn't. So like I can stick this underwater, film fish, get cool shots coming up and stuff like that. And this was like half the price as that one. So they're 2 really cool action cameras that for a long time I tried GoPros. I tried the Osmo Pocket or the Osmo action camera. I can't remember what it's called. But the quality wasn't great. The color wasn't great. The focusing, like I really had to hold it, like the minimum focusing distance was pretty far away. So you had to get like a stick or whatever. Even with that, the original Osmo Pocket, like I had to be fully extended for there to be enough distance for it to focus on my face and not what was behind me. I know that's why they came out with 2 and 3 to kind of fix that issue. So I'm sure it's not an issue with yours, but with this thing, especially with this one, I can stick this in an enclosure, like just this part. Yeah. It's almost like a probe lens. Like the minimum focusing distance is so close. Yeah. So got some real cool shots with that. So there's just a couple of things but take one of these to Madagascar and you'll have that's the only camera you'll need. And you can hook your mic up to it. So there's like this little thing just kind of goes into the USB port where you charge it, and now I can hook any mic I want to right there. So it can be a shotgun mic, it can be a lav mic, it can be a Bluetooth mic, whatever it is. And you got like the mics, you can track the noise settings. And I mean, it's just it's almost like having just like a little point and shoot camera, a third of the size almost. I don't know why I'm selling this camera to everybody. I was just really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this, because I brought a bunch of camera gear to Peru, and then this is like 80% of what I used, except for photography. Just like filming was all this.
All right. Well, we need to close down here. Richard, this has been such a good conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Sorry I went on a Insta360 commercial there at the end. I just was
that's
super stoked about how well it
worked. So everybody, if you are interested in starting your own YouTube channel, do it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I believe it's best for our, it's a better thing for our community when we have more content creators, because when you create content, you have to think about it. You have to get everything, all of your experience, and being able to put it into words. And when you do that, then there's a digital footprint of what you have learned. And that digital footprint is something that people who come after you are able to benefit from your experience. And every single one of us has a different approach. And like, there are some people who can't stand to listen to me that will love to listen to you, not because of the information, but because of my style. And such. So there's a place for all of us. And I encourage you, you don't have to be serious or monetize it or become a YouTuber. Just take your experiences and start to document it. And so that's what this series is all about. Just go to my channel. There's a playlist, and we're halfway through the series now, and just watch them from episode 1 all the way to episode 20. So any last words, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, the best thing you can do is just start, like jump in, start making videos. I mean, maybe wait a little while before you start posting them so you get a little bit of bank going, but just start doing it, because experience is the best teacher. And, and also don't feel like just because you have X amount of tarantulas or X amount of months or years experience, you got nothing to share. Like, person with 1 month experience definitely has stuff they can teach somebody that has 1 day or is just thinking about getting an animal. So if you're sharing your experience, you're speaking your truth. Like, maybe you don't have all the facts or all the scientific knowledge, and that's okay, because I think that sometimes the best way for other people to learn is to see somebody else learn it. People can learn from your mistakes and your missteps and stuff like that. So that's all I would say, is just start recording and share your experience, not what you think is right. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You don't have to be an expert. And in fact, if you're not an expert, don't pretend to be an expert. You are okay wherever you are. If you have a month of experience, as Richard said, you are going to be more relatable to the person who has 1 day experience than someone like me or Richard, who have been in it for decades upon decades. And so your 1 month experience is of value, because you know what you're going through. You know what the 1 day person is going through, and they'll be able to relate to you. You don't have to be an expert. You just document your process of learning. Document your journey wherever you are, and you'll have a great time, and people will learn from you. So,
yeah.
All right, then. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much, Bill. It was great great being on your podcast. Thanks.
Yeah.